Hey everyone, Kevin here. We all know that we won't get a job if we stop looking, but there are times when we simply have to take a break for our own well being. Job search fatigue is a real thing, and we need to acknowledge when it has worn us down. By the time this video posts, I'll have been on the job search for about 5 months, and I'm just gonna come out and say it. I'm really tired. And sure, some of that comes from the fact that we're in one of the worst job markets since the turn of the century, but it's also from applying and hearing nothing back. Automated and computerized rejection notices and interviews that go really well and still end up with them choosing someone else. As time goes on and the months roll by, that takes its toll. My lack of enthusiasm showed, and I felt lost about what I should do next. Plus, I had stopped getting responses to applications, and I was suffering from borderline stress overload. What's worse is that all of that crops up in interviews too. So many people experiencing both interview and job search fatigue come into them exhausted and show it through their responses and overall body language. I had one interview recently that I honestly bombed because I was in such a bad frame of mind, and that wasn't good for me or the interviewer for that matter. It was then that I realized I needed to take a break. It definitely wasn't easy for me to financially, among other reasons, but I went to Universal Studios just to try and refocus. And you know what? Sure enough, I was in the line for the Mario Kart ride and got two different calls from recruiters, one of them resulting in an interview the very next day. I realized then that the job search is like the old saying of a watched pot never boils. If you're always staring at it, you often won't be able to see the results that you're looking for. Indeed, if you look at the pros for taking a job search break, you'll see why it's so important. One, it allows you to reflect on your search so far and reevaluate. At times, you need to reassess what you really want and what it would take to get there because your non negotiables or skills might require some changes. What you find most important is naturally going to change, so just embrace that. Number two, it helps you gain perspective. You can use this time to expand your network and talk to people in your field who are doing what you want to be doing. Many opportunities for new positions come through connections rather than cold applying, and we can't neglect that part of the search. I mean, that's how I found my last position. Use this time to also fill in any gaps you think are important and learn new skills that will help you later whenever you can. Number three, you give your mind precious time to stop thinking and running at 100 miles an hour. Remember, no one can do something all the time. Just like when you need to take a break from work and go on vacation, you likewise need to do that from the job search because let's face it, that can be a full time job in and of itself. In order to be at your best, you need to take time and come back refreshed to start the process all over again. Now, with all that being said, sure, there are some downsides. You may miss out on a great opportunity like your dream job or company, and you would never know that since you didn't see it. You may also need to start over or face some hardships with getting this process restarted again, which are certainly going to be stressful. But that's nothing in comparison to the stressors you're already dealing with during what feels like an insurmountable and terminal job search. And at some point, you're going to feel worn out, exhausted, or even deeply frustrated. It is vital that we recognize and identify the warning signs within ourselves and actively do something to manage it. Else, you end up just venting about your frustrations and anger on LinkedIn or other social media sites, which only hurts you in the long run since it turns so many recruiters and hiring managers away. Believe me, I've done it, and I regretted essentially putting my foot in my mouth a few times because of it. I just don't want you to repeat the same mistakes I've made, which is why, if you ever need help or further guidance on how to manage this brand of fatigue, I'm always here to help you along in this process. Remember, as hard as it may be, you can and need to take a break. See you next time.